Alright, I'm going to mute this really quickly. And let's take a quick look at what we have already. I've got where I can shoot and change color, I can zoom, I can hold shift and sprint. I'm going to hit escape to get out of this. What I want to do now is give us different states for these cylinders. So for example, when you hit it once, it turns red, and it lets us know it's connected. When you hit it twice, it explodes, or plays some sort of particle. But we're also going to need music effects. Now I do have in my content folder the starter content, and there is some audio in there for you. So make sure in this particular one that you have the starter content that you import that in. Let's go back into our blueprints here. And what that means is, because we're going to be affecting the cylinder, we want to adjust the blueprint on the cylinder. So I'm going to double click my cylinder here. Make sure yours is docked so we can quickly switch between them. Now in our event graph, you can see we had our moves the cylinder around. And remember, if you don't have this, I think I did that when the video was off. Just highlight it and then hit C to create a comment. And I'm going to go ahead and hit delete and delete this guy. So let's go to our set material color. You can see here that once our projectile collides with whatever this blueprint is attached to, we change the color to red. And that's what we have now. So let's look at adding a sound. Now, if you're used to scripting in Unity, one way of checking a condition, whether it's true or not, for example, I was telling you we're going to have different states for our hit, is to create a Boolean variable and just check if it's true or false. We're going to create one called primed, and right off the bat, when we compile it, it's set to false. This primed variable is going to determine whether or not it is ready or primed to explode later. So what I want you to do is hold Alt and click on this to break this connection. Just kind of move the set material off. And let me give myself a little more room on this side too. And I'm going to drag this out. And what we need is a node that'll check whether something is true or false. And if you remember from before, oops, let's close that out. A branch node is good for this. It sends out a true-false variable. So for example, true, I want to explode and play a sound. False, I want to just change a color. So what I can do here is, from my first-person projectile, and I might change this in a second, but just connect this to this, our execution node from here to here. So now we go from here to here, and then we go from false to set material. Now what happens is, when we get an event hit, it's still going to set it to red. But when we set the condition for true, it'll play a sound, and then it'll play the other, and it'll maybe play our explosion. So if we compile that and press play, it should still change color. Something else we might want to change is actually our ball, like our gunshot, so that it doesn't just act like a ping pong ball. And I'll show you how to change that in a second. That's pretty easy. Actually, you know what? Let's do that now. So let's jump back into here, and then you see we have our first-person projectile, just in case I forget. If you select the projectile from here, this is all of the variables that adjust it, and we have some. When you look at the variables, we're going to set. Actually, we'll set that up later, but we can make them global so they're affected in anything. But you'll see here that projectile, for example, it's 3,000. Let's make it 6,000, so it's really quick. And then let's make our max speed 6,000 as well. What this is this is the speed in which it shoots from the tip of our gun, and this is the speed it flies across. And then there's one that says should bounce. Just uncheck that and compile this. And I'm just going to close this out just for screen real estate. Now when I press play, you can see it kind of sticks, and then it'll delete itself after a certain period of time. And we can adjust all that stuff later based on distance. So anyway, that's good for now. So let's jump back into our cylinder. Let's finish this part up with the sound. All right, so let's think about our logic for a second here. Okay, when we shoot our projectile, right, we're going to check whether it's true or false, a specific condition. The condition is whether or not it's primed. What we want to do is, if we hit it once, we want to say that it is false, right? That it is true. It's checked on it is true. That it is primed to destroy. So how do we do that? Well, right now this is just giving us our true false variable that's already like we were getting, it's already set. We want to set this. So if you remember, if you left click and drag out, you can hold Alt, and that creates the set. It's just kind of a shortcut opposed to dragging it out and then having to select from here. So what we want to do is, it is turned, like at this point our material is set to red, so I'm going to execute this. I'm going to turn this on. So now it is primed for an explosion. So now let's take a look at triggering a audio. So right click in here and look for play sound at location. There's a bunch of these different ones. What's nice about this is it plays a sound file at a specific location. So you can see it plays it right there. Here, let me kind of move this up a little bit. Now, if we want to know where the location is, we want to play that, we want that location to be at where the hit occurs. So what's nice is off to the side here, you can see that they have a hit location, and there's a location node here. So if we grab this and we just connect it here, and we link true to this, you can see that it plays in that location. But where's the sound file? Well, that's where this comes in. If you click this here, and we want to do like an explosion, I'm going to turn this up a little bit. And I think that'll work without us. I might have to fiddle with it in a second if we don't hear anything. Now that explosion is going to be pretty subtle though, so you're going to have to like really hear for it. But let's compile this, save, compile again, press play. Now when we hit this guy, you kind of hear it, the explosion sound. And kind of, we'll change it to something else. Try fire and see if that plays. I could be missing one node. Let me check this again. Yeah, I heard a little something. Maybe there. I know there's a node that allows us to adjust the volume of this, so we might have to tinker with that too. So the next thing I want to do is I'm gonna spawn an emitter. Now, if you're used to Unity, this is just they have emission built into the particle effect. What this does is you can select the type of emission, which is like particle explosion, dust, whatever. So let's do, I don't know, we can have fun with this. Let's do smoke. And then what I want to do is I actually want to destroy the actor. So that'll destroy it. Now, remember, we have this location node. It'll tell us where we want it to destroy it. You probably guessed right. We're just going to grab another node from here and connect it, because we want it at the same location, and target is self, because we want it to blow up the cylinder. Alright, and we have auto destroy on. Let's save and compile this. This should work when we shoot it twice. Actually, I'm going to change the sound back to explosion, because we haven't shot it twice, you know. So save, compile, play. There we go. You can see the particle effect playing. We might have to mess with that time. You can hear that sound now in the background. I kind of made the mistake of, I forgot that it has to be hit twice. Alright, now I think I'm going to stop here. But what I'd like you to do, kind of, you can do this on your own, is tweak these settings. So you can see here, sorry, let's select our projectile again. We took bounce off, and then I have to play with this a little bit more, but there are it's destroy. Here's destroy actor, but I know there's a time node. Rotation. I'll kind of tinker with this, and then we'll come back to this and figure out how to see. We have the destroy actor here. It's like this is from our projectile. We can adjust the timing. Anyway, that's it for this one.